Yeah, all good. All good. Just going for a nice, peaceful Arvo walk. Yeah, nice, relaxing walk. And yeah, just reflecting on the convo I had a few weeks back. Someone asked me, do I think non-league football has improved in standard, the level over the years? And my response is, I can only speak from my anecdotal perspective, from my experience anecdotally. And I think it has improved in standard, anecdotally from my own experience. And my first experience of non-league football in England would have been back in '95. I was training, I was on trial, you could say, training with Rochdale Football Club. They weren't in a non-league, they were in the old fourth division. Pretty sure back then in '95, and there for a week or two, and at the end of it, didn't quite work out, but they suggested to sort of go out and play. There's a team called Cassie Gabs, Castle and Gabriels, and I went there for a bit of a run, and then found myself at another team, chatting for a little bit, and then had some training as well with Halifax. I don't think they were in league football at the time, Halifax, funny enough. I'm not sure if they were in the old conference or league, but such a long time ago. It was about '96 then. So I'm just sort of setting the scene and reflecting on my own experiences at that point. So from my experiences, having a bit of a run with Cassie Gabs, Chatty, and some training with Halifax, and then '98, I would say, when I was down in Surrey, Red Hill, had a bit of a run out with them as well. But yeah, from my experience, what I would say has improved over the years is maybe the professionalism. Now you've got players, for example, who at the higher end of the tiers in non-league football, play professionally at the higher tiers, tier 5 for example. So the old, used to be known as the old conference national league. It's at tier 5. Some of the players and teams are professional there. But I suppose in the lower tiers, yeah, players now they've got access to sort of personal trainers. Now they train with trainers who have experience of training players and teams in professional football too, which generally wasn't the case back then. They've also got access to sort of technology as well, things like sort of video game analysis and similar things like that type thing to analyse the game. So the facilities have changed as well. Absolutely, from my experience sort of training, where yeah, I mean, it was probably harder to get a pitch back then. I remember sort of training, I think it was my memory serves me correct, I think it was over in Failsworth, was the AstroTurf type thing, and yeah, I mean, whilst it wasn't, was okay, it was reasonably good, but now in the non-league, even the lower tiers, they've got access to sort of like, gyms and higher tech equipment, and you could say different resources as well. And I think also bear in mind that players from the EFL end up playing non-league sometimes. Even online, you get non-league teams, and all those ingredients add up to improve the standard. The speed of thought, the thought process, the technical side of the game. So that sort of starts to improve. Also, I think that you probably get more fans now as well. And I reckon it's because, like, for example, in the Premier League now, it's a lot expensive, really. It can be quite costly to sort of bring, well, if anyone wants to sort of take a family to watch a game in the Premier League, it's really expensive. So you got the sort of the community feel of non-league. So that maybe adds to sort of extra people coming down to watch as well. To what I would say, in the non-league, you probably don't get as many players at the high end of the professional game playing non-league, probably because sort of financially, you can argue that basically, at the end of the career, is that what they want to do type thing, So you might not get that, to be fair, like in years gone by. You might get players who's played even at the highest level go down and sort of play non-league for a variety of reasons. Maybe not sort of for an experience, but it'll also be maybe to start their sort of coaching career and that sort of stuff, for sure. I remember doing, I think it was 95, a prelim, the old sort of prelim, the FA prelim course. And on that sort of prelim, you had some non-league players, some good players on there as well. They were good technically as well, to be fair. But yeah, look, I would say the standard was reasonably high back then. But I think, with sort of training methods, accessibility, and that sort of stuff, I would say anecdotally, based on my own experience and my involvement over the years in and out of the game in sort of various roles and whatever else, really. I would go so far to say that for sure the level has definitely improved. But it'd be interesting to see your thoughts, anyone sort of who thinks otherwise type thing. So it's good to sort of hear different thoughts as well. Some people see it differently, and I've just sort of mentioned some of the reasons that I can think of the top of my head. I'm sure people can think of other things too. But yeah, all good.